Chosen one. They thought your chapter was closed. They thought your story was written in defeat, stamped with endings, sealed in silence. They saw the falls, the betrayals, the moments when everything in you looked shattered beyond repair. In their hearts, they buried your name, convinced you would never rise again. But now here you are, not only standing, but unshakable. Not only surviving, but radiating a strength that confuses their logic and rattles their assumptions. They stare in secret, and in the hidden corners of their minds, the same question echoes like thunder. Who is this person? How are they still here? How did they endure what would have destroyed anyone else? What they don't see is the invisible hand that carried you through nights of silence, the unseen power that raised you when no human hand was there to help. Your strength was never a product of human effort. It was the mark of heaven on your life. That is why your very presence is both magnetic and unsettling. You are living proof of something greater, something unexplainable, something divine. And today, as you listen to these words, we are about to unlock the mystery of your resilience and reveal why the world cannot look at you without asking, who are you really? But before we begin, seal this moment with faith. Hit the like button as a declaration that your story was not buried in defeat. Subscribe if you haven't already, because heaven has more words reserved for your spirit. And comment 99 below, because 99 is the seal of divine confirmation, that even when the world counted you out, heaven counted you in. Chosen one, your survival is not random, it is not an accident, and it is certainly not luck. Every single time you stood up from the ashes, something supernatural was happening. You may not have realized it in the moment, but heaven itself was placing its fingerprint upon your destiny. What others mistook for stubbornness, what they called coincidence, was in fact divine confirmation that your story had already been signed and sealed by a higher power. They thought you were finished. They whispered that your end had come, and they even convinced themselves that your defeat was permanent. Yet here you are, not only alive, but stronger, sharper, and more radiant than before. And that survival itself is the loudest announcement to the world that God's promises never collapse under pressure. Look closely. Every collapse you suffered was meant to bury you. Every voice that declared your downfall believed they were watching the last scene of your life. And yet, instead of a grave, what they were truly witnessing was a resurrection. Because for the chosen, endings are never endings. They are openings to something greater. That is why you confuse so many. They replay your failures in their minds and cannot reconcile how those same failures became the soil of your rising. They measure you by human standards, by human strength, by human reason, and that is exactly why your existence frustrates them. Because no human explanation fits. The only truth is that you were never standing alone. Do you realize the weight of this? Your very breath, your very presence, is evidence that divine promises cannot be broken. When people ask, "How are you still here?" what they are really saying is, "We saw everything that should have destroyed you, so why are you alive, shining and walking with such unshakable conviction?" And the answer is not hidden in complicated words. It is simple, powerful, undeniable, because God Himself decided your story was not over. And here is the deeper mystery. Your survival is not just for you. It was never only about keeping you alive. Your survival is a signpost to others that heaven intervenes in human history. You became a living confirmation that when God writes a promise, no circumstance, no enemy, no betrayal, and no storm can erase it. They thought you were finished, but your continued existence is the evidence that His word has the final say. Think about this. If your life had ended in those low places, if your story had stopped in the shadows of your pain, people would have nodded and said, "We knew it." They would have explained it away as natural, predictable, deserved. But the fact that you rose when you shouldn't have, that you smiled again after tears tried to blind you, that you walked again after the ground seemed to collapse, this is what forces even the doubters to pause. Because your survival does not match their logic. It cannot be boxed into statistics or explained by psychology. It screams of something higher, something divine, something eternal. And yet, even now, not everyone will admit it out loud. Some will reduce your victory to strong character. Others will label it luck. But deep inside, they know luck doesn't explain the glow in your eyes after nights of darkness. They know character alone doesn't carry someone through the storms that tried to annihilate you. They know there is something about you that feels untouchable, something unexplainable. And that something is heaven's seal, heaven's confirmation, heaven's hand resting on your destiny. This is why your survival unsettles people. Because to acknowledge it fully is to admit that God is real, and that terrifies some but inspires others. Your existence forces a decision. Either they admit that something divine is happening through you, or they deny what their spirit already feels. Either way, your life has already spoken louder than their words. So hear this clearly. You are not breathing today by coincidence. You are not walking today because of chance. You are here because a divine decree was spoken over your life, and heaven does not revoke what it has sealed. You are here because your survival itself is a prophetic announcement that your mission is not complete. Every morning you open your eyes, it is heaven whispering again. The story continues. And here lies the tension that keeps everyone watching. If survival itself is already this powerful, what comes next in your journey? If you were not destroyed in the fire, what will happen when you step fully into the purpose the fire was preparing you for? This is the question burning silently in the hearts of those around you. And that is why they cannot look away. Pain was never just pain for you, chosen one. While others thought it was breaking you, heaven was shaping you. Every betrayal that sliced into your soul was not an ending. It was an initiation. Each time a door slammed in your face, it was not rejection, it was redirection. The sleepless nights, the weight of loneliness pressing against your chest, the moments when silence felt like abandonment. These were not accidents. They were classrooms. Pain became the hidden training ground where your spirit was refined into something unshakable. Think about it. The tears you shed in the dark, the ones no one else saw, watered the soil of your destiny. They were not wasted. They carried power, fertilizing the ground for the strength that you carry now. The wounds that once bled and burned eventually became inscriptions of wisdom carved into your soul. Every scar you wear today is not a symbol of defeat. It is proof that you completed the lessons others could not even endure. You didn't just survive pain. You absorbed it, decoded it, transformed it into fuel. People often wonder why your presence feels so weighty, why you carry an authority that doesn't match your circumstances. The answer is simple. Storms were your training. Where others saw chaos, heaven saw opportunity. While they interpreted your battles as punishment, the truth is they were blueprints. Every collapse taught you how to rebuild faster. Every loss trained your heart to discern who and what truly belongs in your life. Every night of despair trained your ears to recognize the whisper of God in the silence. You were being forged in fire, and fire does not leave things the same. It either destroys or purifies. And you, chosen one, were purified. It's almost ironic. They thought your pain was weakening you, but it was secretly fortifying you. You learned how to walk when the ground itself was unstable. You discovered how to breathe even when life pressed against your lungs. You mastered the art of rising again and again, until even the act of standing became second nature to you. That is why your strength cannot be compared to ordinary strength. It carries the weight of storms, the wisdom of scars, and the resilience of battles won in silence. But here's the paradox that unsettles those watching you. What looked like destruction from the outside was actually promotion from the inside. The very things that were designed to crush you became the exact things that equipped you. Pain stripped away illusions, revealed false alliances, and burned away distractions. And in that fire, what remained was the unshakable core of who you truly are. You are not standing here today in spite of pain. You are standing here because of it. Pain was not your enemy. It was your instructor. And now when people see you, they sense something different. They can't name it, but they feel it. They wonder why you carry such a quiet authority, why your words penetrate deeper than surface encouragement, why your presence alone shifts the atmosphere of a room. What they are sensing is the weight of every battle you survived, every night you endured, every scar that now glows with the fire of transformation. You are not just strong, you are seasoned. You are not just standing. You are standing with weapons that only pain could have given you. Understand this. Every fall was a rehearsal for your rising. Every time you hit the ground, you were unknowingly practicing resurrection. That is why now, when life throws challenges your way, you rise almost instinctively, almost effortlessly. You have been here before. You have trained in the dark. And what terrifies others is second nature to you. Because pain taught you the rhythm of survival until survival became identity. But here lies the mystery that keeps people watching you, captivated, unable to look away. If pain itself became your training ground, if the storms only sharpened your blade instead of dulling it, then what will happen when the season shifts fully into your purpose? What happens when the one who was trained in fire steps into the mission they were forged for? The world hasn't seen the full weight of your rise yet. And that question, what will they become now that pain has finished its work, is the tension that hangs in the air, pulling every eye toward you, waiting for the next revelation of who you truly are. Chosen one, your life has become a puzzle that no one can solve. When people look at you now, they don't just see a person, they see a riddle, a living contradiction that refuses to make sense in human terms. Some stare with admiration, secretly inspired by your resilience. Others watch with envy, unsettled by the fact that you carry a strength they cannot manufacture. And yet, whether they love you or resent you, all of them must face the same undeniable truth. By every natural law, you should not be standing. By every calculation, you should have collapsed and stayed down. And yet here you are, alive, firm, radiant. This is why your presence unsettles them. You are not easy to categorize. They cannot place you neatly into the boxes they use to understand ordinary people. You break their definitions. You exceed their explanations. They remember your losses, your battles, your betrayals. They recall the nights when you had nothing, the seasons when you walked alone, the storms that should have stripped you bare. And when they look at the evidence, the conclusion should be that you are broken, finished, empty. But that is not what they see. Instead, they see someone carrying a peace that cannot be bought, a light that refuses to be extinguished, and a strength that feels untouchable. That disconnect between what they expect and what they witness is what makes you a mystery. It is not simply that you survived. It is how you survived. While others in your position would have grown bitter, you grew deeper. While many would have carried the stench of despair, you carry the fragrance of hope. While countless others would have become cynical, cold, and angry at the world, you somehow radiate compassion, understanding, and grace. And that is what truly disturbs them. You are not marked by the things you went through. You are marked by the one who carried you through them. Chosen one, your silence is louder than their noise. Without raising your voice, without explaining yourself, your very existence preaches sermons they cannot ignore. When you walk into a room, something shifts. When you smile, people feel an unexplainable peace. When you stand in resilience, without boasting, without demanding recognition, it unsettles the atmosphere. Because people know deep inside that what they are witnessing is not natural strength. It is divine resilience wearing human skin. That is why people whisper questions they never dare to ask aloud. Who are you really? How did you manage to endure what we know you went through? Why do you carry this calm when chaos should have broken you? They may try to explain it with shallow words, luck, willpower, a strong personality. But in their spirit, they know the truth runs deeper. They sense it even if they can't name it. Your life points to something greater, something unearthly, something beyond comprehension. And here is the unshakable reality. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify your survival or give step-by-step instructions for your resilience, because your life itself is the testimony. Every breath you take, every step you walk, every new day you rise becomes a declaration that God's hand is still on you. They are not confused because you did something impossible. They are confused because something impossible was done through you. This is why your peace bothers some people more than your victories. Anyone can celebrate after triumph, but you walked with peace even in the valley. Anyone can smile on the mountaintop, but you learned how to shine in the midnight hour. That paradox makes you dangerous in the eyes of those who never wanted to see you rise. Because while they fought to break your body, they could not touch the spirit that sustains you. While they plotted to silence your voice, they could not silence the testimony that your very existence has become. And so the mystery continues. The more they watch you, the less they understand. Every attempt to explain you falls short because what you carry is not human, it is divine. And that divine mark cannot be hidden, cannot be diminished. cannot be erased. They may not admit it, but when they look at you, something inside whispers that they are looking at living proof of God's faithfulness. But here is the question that now lingers in their minds, the one they cannot shake no matter how hard they try. If this is the kind of mystery your life already is, if your survival alone makes people tremble in confusion, then what will they do when your full purpose is revealed? What happens when the mystery they cannot solve unfolds into a destiny they cannot deny? That, chosen one, is the secret still waiting to be uncovered, and it keeps every eye locked on you, unable to look away. Chosen one, the world only saw fragments of your journey. They saw the smile you forced when your heart was breaking. They saw you walk forward when your knees were trembling. They saw you appear strong while battles raged inside of you. But what they never witnessed were the invisible wars, the ones fought in silence, in shadows, in realms their eyes could not reach. They thought your survival was a matter of willpower, but you know the truth. It was not you alone standing against the storm. Heaven itself rose up on your behalf. Angels were dispatched in moments you didn't even realize. The unseen became your shield. The invisible became your fortress, and because of that, you are still here. There were nights when despair whispered louder than hope. Nights when the weight on your chest made it hard to breathe. Nights when your soul felt like it was unraveling thread by thread. You know those moments when no phone call could save you, no friend could understand, no advice could fill the void. And yet in those moments, something unexplainable held you together. You didn't collapse, though every force was pushing you to surrender. That something was not chance, it was divine intervention. While the enemy was plotting to break you, heaven was orchestrating your preservation. There were battles fought around you that you never saw. Arrows aimed at your mind that never reached you. Plots formed against you that suddenly collapsed without explanation. Doors that looked promising but would have destroyed you, mysteriously closed. People who smiled in your face but carried hidden daggers, suddenly removed from your path. You thought at times it was loss, rejection, or misfortune, but in reality, it was heaven clearing the ground so your purpose could survive. What others call coincidence, you now know was divine strategy, and even when you felt utterly alone, you were never abandoned. While you lay awake in silence, convinced you were fighting by yourself, armies of angels stood guard at the borders of your destiny. While despair tried to whisper, "This is the end," heaven thundered, "This is preparation." Every time the shadows tried to suffocate you, light pierced through in ways you couldn't explain. Every time the weight of hopelessness pressed against your soul, a sudden spark of strength rose up inside you. That was not your strength. That was heaven lending you its power. The world cannot understand this, and that is why they misread your story. They think resilience is the product of personality, but you know better. You know that what kept you alive was not your determination alone. It was the unseen hand lifting you when your own strength was gone. You know that behind every silent tear, an invisible war was being fought and won. You know that every time you stood back up, it was not just you. It was a legion of heaven's forces pushing you to rise again. Chosen one, never underestimate the power of what was done for you in secret. The reason your enemies couldn't finish you, the reason your trials didn't destroy you, the reason despair didn't devour you, is because unseen battles had already been won in your favor. Your survival is not evidence of willpower, it is evidence of divine protection. And that is why you stand now, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a living victory of invisible wars. But here lies the tension that keeps this story burning with mystery. If so much was already won for you in secret, if heaven has already defended you from dangers you never even knew existed, then what will happen when the invisible finally manifests into the visible? What victories are about to break into the open, undeniable for all to see? That question hangs in the air, unspoken yet irresistible, drawing every heart closer to the revelation still to come. Chosen one, your strength has become a double-edged sword in the eyes of the world. For some, your rise is a beacon of hope. When they look at you, they see proof that survival is possible, that pain does not have to be the final chapter, that even shattered pieces can be rearranged into something more powerful than before. To them, your life is like a lighthouse in the middle of their storm, silently signaling that they too can endure, they too can stand again, they too can overcome. Your resilience awakens something deep inside of them. a spark they thought had long died out. You are a reminder that brokenness is not the end, but the soil from which resurrection is born. And yet, to others, that same strength is unbearable. Your glow unsettles those who once celebrated your pain. Your joy irritates those who secretly hoped your silence would last forever. Your victory is the evidence they never wanted to see, because it exposes the emptiness of their predictions. They fed off your downfall, they drew satisfaction from your struggles, and now your rise is like a mirror reflecting back their own limitations. Every time they see you walk with confidence, they are confronted with the undeniable truth that what they tried to destroy did not just survive, it flourished. This is why your presence divides the atmosphere. To the broken-hearted, you are living inspiration. To the bitter, you are living proof that their words and actions were powerless. Your strength forces people to choose. Will they see it as an invitation to believe again, or will they see it as a threat to the lies they cling to? Either way, you cannot be ignored. Your story does not allow neutrality. You are either admired or despised, but never dismissed. And here lies the deeper mystery. Your strength is not loud. It doesn't shout for attention. It doesn't demand recognition. It is quiet, steady, undeniable. It radiates through your peace, your resilience, your refusal to collapse. And because of that, it carries more weight than 1,000 speeches. Your silence after victory speaks louder than your enemy's accusations. Your calm after storms unsettles those who are still consumed by chaos. Your light in the aftermath of darkness cannot be denied, and that light carries both healing and confrontation. For those secretly watching you, your journey has become a sermon. They may never say it out loud, but your life preaches to them every time they see you. It tells them that chosen ones cannot be crushed, that divine purpose cannot be erased, that what is written in heaven cannot be undone on earth. Without realizing it, you have become a message. Your existence is no longer just about you. It is about everyone who sees you and feels that tug in their soul. And here is the paradox that unsettles the world. Your strength does not come from power as they define it. It doesn't come from wealth or status or influence. It comes from endurance, from faith, from the hand of God sustaining you in places they will never understand. That is why your rise cannot be copied, cannot be imitated, cannot be explained away. It is authentic, undeniable, divine. Chosen one, your very survival has become a disruption. It interrupts the lies that say people cannot recover. It interrupts the despair that says life cannot be rebuilt. It interrupts the arrogance of those who thought they could bury you. And that disruption is what makes your strength both inspiring and disturbing. For the desperate, it is hope. For the prideful, it is judgment. For the envious, it is torment. But for you, it is destiny. And now, the question that lingers, the one that keeps them awake in silence, is this. If your life has already inspired the broken and disturbed the arrogant, what will happen when the fullness of your calling is revealed? What will they do when your testimony is no longer a quiet whisper, but a thunderous roar that no one can deny? That revelation is coming, and the thought of it leaves everyone watching, unable to look away, waiting for the moment when your destiny will speak louder than ever before. Chosen one! This is the hour where everything you've heard until now converges into a single revelation. Your very existence is proof of the unstoppable hand of God. The world keeps asking, who are you? They search for explanations, they wrestle with doubts, but none of their words can capture the truth. Because you are not just someone who endured, you are someone who was marked, set apart, and carried by eternity itself. You are not here by chance. You are not here because life was gentle with you. You are here because heaven decreed that no storm, no betrayal, no weapon, no darkness could erase the story written over your soul. The scars you carry are no longer symbols of defeat. They are crowns of honor, proof that you walked through fire and came out shining brighter. What once felt like ashes has become the glow of your authority. What was designed to break you became the very training ground that revealed your calling. You are not merely surviving. You are reigning in a realm that cannot be touched by human hands. And let them wonder. Let them whisper in confusion. Let them question how you keep rising when everything says you should have fallen. Their questions are the soundtrack of your victory, because the answer they seek will never be found in logic, in reason, in explanation. It is hidden in divine purpose. The truth is simple, undeniable, eternal. You are chosen, and nothing in this world can erase that reality. So lift your head, chosen one. Stand in the power of who you are. Walk with the fire of destiny burning in your chest. You are not ordinary, you are extraordinary. You are not forgotten, you are handpicked. You are not defeated, you are unstoppable. The same God who carried you through shadows is the one who will crown you in glory. Now seal this word with faith. Comment below with conviction. I still stand because I am chosen. Write it as a declaration to heaven and as a warning to the earth that nothing and no one will ever silence what God has placed inside of you. Your time is now. Your purpose is alive. And your story has only just begun.